Oh shit, boys, it's time to finally use Kain. Kain in Guild War, it's gonna be so good! And by that I mean, it's gonna be utter fucking shit. So, hey, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're looking at here. Ocean Breeze Luluca, Navy Captain Landy, and Spirit Eye Celine. So, the very first thing that we're really going to have to deal with is, one, they were faster than all of us. Okay, whatever, no big deal. I'm not planning to use any non-attack skills anyway. But then here, we do the first thing that we would want to do with Kain, which is get your S3 off. As soon as you do, now you actually have Enrage, and you can finally inflict some bleeds. Because my Kain doesn't have any effectiveness, because why the fuck would you? You only need effectiveness for, like, the first attack that you would deal for bleed, and Kain is pretty much so ass shit terrible that he needs to have bleed initiators on the team so that he can even do his main mechanics. Damn, bro, like, there's not much really good to even say about Kain, especially because the way in which he functions, he basically is a fusion of Kairon. It's just Kairon does infinitely more damage, because Kain has limitations on the damage that he can deal, which is based on how many debuffs that a unit even has. Because otherwise, when you see his S3, it does next to fucking nothing. But either way, let's go ahead and get back into the fight instead of shitting on Kain. So right now we have Shadow Knight Pyllis and we have Roana. Roana is strictly here, you know, because we know we're going to get fucked by some Navy Captain Landy shenanigans. And also, you know, the Spirit Eye Celine could possibly be on I don't know, the one artifact where she does multiple attacks in one turn. It's something that Sid usually has. I'm kind of out of it today. I can't remember names. But either way, luckily for us, we straight up didn't get killed by the Navy Captain Landy S3. Wow, good shit, Kain. And also, good shit, Kain. Nice element advantage, and like nice element disadvantage from Ocean Breeze Luluca hitting that red unit like a fucking bitch. But either way, this is where like the entire fight is won because Shadow Knight Pyllis and Rocket Punch is just an incredibly powerful combination. Kain does next to fucking nothing. He tries to hit a lot of the times. He usually has like blind on him, or any chance where he actually really can go in to really do some damage. Like at the start of the fight, whenever he had Enrage and he was able to do his follow-up attack, he basically didn't crit fucking anyone because of, you know, Navy Captain Landy having anti-crit on everything. I just brought Kain because I knew Shadow Knight Pyllis was going to solo this whole fucking team, but I wanted to see just how bad he quote-unquote was, because Kain is literally only used in Rift content. Like, that's where that's the only place he's used. And I understand why. It's because it's all about overloading the boss with debuffs, but straight up, you can't even use Kain until you hit RC 15. And because of that, fuck Rift. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm straight up not doing Rift at all. The rewards don't look like it's worth the energy cost that you're going to be spending into it, and by the time you even get to RC 15 and then you can use Kain for a proper team, there's no more rewards to really gain. I'll just stick to doing hunts whenever hunts come around. It's not like I actually make a lot of gear anyway. I mean, hell, you guys know me. I don't get gear because my gear rolls like shit. But either way, now that we've managed to deal with the 2 DPS threats that are on the field, all we have to do is kill that annoying piece of shit, and then we're good to go and on to the next fight. Now here, everything eventually does work, but also, this was just really, really shittily played. So, for starters, we need more attack buffing, just like fast units in general. So what I decided to do here, because my Wall of Order procced and I had Gab, oh hey, that looks like a free opportunity to kill a tank. And lo and behold, the Mort was on Holy Sack, then he comes back, and I don't have any other real method of getting attack buff onto my units other than Moon Bunny, and Moon Bunny isn't faster than my already CR boosted Arunka, so now I use the S3 on Operating Sigret, and lo and behold, now we have no barriers to go into. Boy, I'm fucking smart. But thankfully for us, we were able to kill the Mort once. He's low on health. We should be able to kill it with the S3 from Arunka. We managed to do that. And here, pretty much, Operator Sigret's marked for death because she doesn't have a lot of HP, and, you know, anytime that ae-KARINA really goes in with, you know, Rocket Punch being the oh-so-fucking wonderful artifact that it is, why the fuck can't we summon it for it right now during the summoning event? I don't fucking know. Something to do with collabs and money, probably. Who fucking knows? I certainly don't care. I just want another goddamn artifact that's like Rocket Punch. But, hey, no need to get angry about that now. But, hey, it looks like Moon Bunny's about to die. Thankfully for us, we're not quite there yet, and we just so happen to have enough speed so that we're able to cycle around and get ourselves a nice little barrier and a little bit of HP. However, it was right here that I was like, well, what if we don't get the S1 with the Arunka? Because, you know, Arunka's S1 is on a fucking RNG clock as well, and it's just like, man, everything sucks, so I'm gonna go for the S3. And bam! She is at 2 fucking HP from that S3. Boy, this is great. However, I will beat your 2 HP with my few hundred HP that was remaining on my Moon Bunny. I couldn't read that because the screen was a little small, but hey, we managed to win! Aren't we fucking special? Oh, fuck. Okay, so how can I spin this? How can I spin this in a way that makes me not look like a complete fucking retard? Oh, I can't. So, we're fighting Nahkwol, Savior Adin, and Urban Shadow's Choux. So what? I'll at least be honest on this front right here. A lot of this was a test, and it didn't work, but it was a test to see how effective Unbound not Arowell would really be going into Urban Shadow Choux shenanigans with like as many barriers as we have. The only problem is we did not take into account the sheer damage of Savior Adin and the absolute fucking crazy turn cycling of Nahkwol. Like, those are the two things that I didn't take into account. And because of that, we're fucking doomed. We have no chance of really winning right now. I try to go for it and see if I can deal enough damage to actually kill the Urban Shadow Choux, because in my mind I'm thinking as soon as she goes down, I pretty much win. That's not quite how it's going to work out. But honestly, if you did want to fight this team, the 100% really best way to fight it is if you're a speed monster. If you're a speed monster, or you straight up just have Zeo and Jacko, that's your answer. Because you just go in, take your turn 1, kill the Urban Shadow Choux essentially in like one hit, and then use your other turn to go into Nahkwol, because she wasn't on Guiding Light. You could hit her. And then you're basically only left with Savior Adin. So like, that's what you could do if you were going to fight that. And then if you didn't have Zeo, you didn't have like Jacko, let's say you only wanted to do this with a turtle-based shenanigans or whatever like that, the only other real options that you have is you would have to have a dark unit that was really, really tanky. ADS is one unit that would also probably work, but like, once again, this is something where you wouldn't want to fight this slow like I was doing. If you have speed, yeah, this is pretty easy. But if you don't have speed, well, the one thing I really got to tell you is even if you don't have speed, you should probably at least try to get a Zeo, because that's your guaranteed, like, you're in with your turn 1, because pretty much minimum, like, what, 250 or 244 speed, something like that Zeo, is basically a 300 speed contester. But either way, let's go ahead and ignore that fight. Yeah, LucentAzure looks like he just gave up because he had a fucking stroke or whatever. Okay, now on to the next fight. So here we're fighting Ran, Mercedes, and Navy Captain Landy. So what I decided to do here is I wanted to bring Krau. I also wanted to bring Abyssal Yufine, and then just in case, because I knew some shenanigans were probably going to happen, which straight up surprising that they didn't. Like, the Ran didn't really strip anything. He didn't really, like, land anything. But hey, I brought Destina just in case I needed a reviver, I needed a cleanse. So pretty much things are actually looking really good. The goal that I was trying to go for was I wanted a tank unit that could then provide def buff for Abyssal Yufine. Because when Abyssal Yufine has def buff, her S1s just do crazy ass damage. Now, right here, I thought to do this, but of course, the one threat, if you ever initiate trauma going into a Navy Captain Landy, is she will more than likely counter your ass, and she will more than likely kill your ass. Now, I didn't want to use the S3 on Destina here because I was afraid I would actually need it in the future. However, I am being punished for saving that S3 for a lot of attacks from both the Navy Captain Landy and from the Mercedes with Magic for Friends. Ain't I just fucking lucky? So, here, is where I'm actually not worried in the slightest. The only thing I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to figure out a way that I can turn cycle around so that I can bring Abyssal Yufine back, and then I can use Krau to just straight up kill the Navy Captain Landy. Because I don't really give a shit. You're not going to kill my Krau. Because, for starters, even if you were rocking a nuclear fucking explosion Navy Captain Landy, I still have Holy Sack. And if I have Holy Sack, I'm still going to come back, I'm going to have a little barrier, and then I can use this time so I can revive Abyssal Yufine. Now here's the only thing that could possibly go wrong here. I could hit into the Navy Captain Landy, she could counter, and then she could just straight up kill me. Doesn't happen, thank God. And now we're able to use Siegfried to go into the Navy Captain Landy. She's already taken a good bit of damage, so it's, even though, like, you know, Siegfried didn't do a lot of damage, she didn't have a lot of HP to really give back. So, yay! Let's ignore that middle part of the fight. Now, here's Navy Captain Landy, Ocean Breeze Luluca, and Choux again. So, Choux really is like this unit that kind of triggers the fuck out of me, because I really see there's no other way to really fight her other than going fast and taking care of her immediately. Because if you let her linger, if you let Urban Shadow Choux linger on a field, you are fucked. Like, you just are. Because she will do so much injury damage so fucking quick that, I straight up think you're fucked. Now, I could be wrong on that. Some people who are more experienced when it comes to fighting Urban Shadow Choux may be saying, like, nah, bro, you're fucking retard. Just do this, this, and this, and you're fine. And by all means, if you have anything to say about that, please tell me in the comments. Like, guys, I'm not an authority figure on Guild Wars. I'm some retard on the internet who just records his stuff, and then you guys happen to like whenever I talk about it. But either way, the goal that we're trying to go for here is to do as much damage as humanly possible to kill the Choux. We happen to get it because Midnight Gala Lilias is actually really, really, really good at that, because Choux, you have to expect, is going to have a lot of HP. Usually she doesn't have enough HP to result in, like, you know, a one-tap, like, say, Last Rider Krau, but you can usually deal enough damage, or you'll deal enough to at least trigger the S2. The problem with that is, anytime you're fighting Ocean Breeze Luluca, she'll then activate her shit, and then she'll probably strip all your units, which, straight up, I'm really loving how all of the Ocean Breeze Luluca S2s are hitting every single one of my red units. Boy, what the fuck is Element Disadvantage? Never heard of it. But either way, we happened to deal with the two really big threats because we were able to go into Urban Shadow Choux. We did enough damage to her. We were able to deal a good bit of damage to the Navy Captain Landy. And we also had Hwayoung as a backup, even though we got kind of fucked by the S2 from, you know, Ocean Breeze Luluca, which, you know, hits again. What the fuck is Element Disadvantage? Don't even know. Whatever. Fuck this game. But then we were able to do enough damage to the Navy Captain Landy, and we're pretty much able to just knock this team out. Because as soon as it's, you know, just Ocean Breeze Luluca, she can do literally nothing. All she is kind of like this anti-cleave unit that can't really heal. And that's where it's like, I'm not a big fan of using Ocean Breeze Luluca. I do like using her with things like Abyssal Yufine because of the free death buff and the ice cream, but like just the overall lack of heals that she really has, it kind of makes it a little rough for me to justify using Ocean Breeze, even though, like, I know Ocean Breeze is good. I see her all the time. So, yeah, there you go. Now, let's fight that team we fought at the very, very beginning, shall we? It's Conqueror Lilias, Mort, and ae-KARINA, yet again. Now, I don't have Moon Bunny this time, and I don't have, I didn't really feel like using Arunka, because anytime I go into a Conqueror Lilias, I have, like, two options. I can either do some Sinful Angelica shenanigans, or I can try to, like, go full Soul Weaver into it. Now, because we're fighting units, well, there is an HP scaler that's on the team. His name is Mort. We're going to go ahead and go into this with Death Dealer Ray, Shuna, and Sharun. So, with these three units together, we basically have, like, the Wall of Death, I guess you could straight up call it. So we have a lot of F-Res that's on our DDR, and because of that, we're not going to really be affected by the Conqueror Lilias here. If it's a really, really good Conqueror Lilias, they usually would be able to affect me. However, it just straight up doesn't happen here. Probably didn't have enough effectiveness, probably just went full speed. Either way, don't know, don't really care. The main goal that we're trying to do as of right now is we're trying to get Mort's HP down as much as humanly possible because he's an HP scaler. Any and all damage that he deals and any all death breaks that he could possibly land on you, we just straight up don't want that to happen. So, and he's also immune to sleep, so it doesn't really matter like who you hit into him with either the Shara S3 or the Death Dealer Ray S3, S1. He's not going to fall asleep. Just get his HP down as low as possible with injury. Do that. And he's going to basically be hitting like a wet noodle. Now, the only other threat on the field is going to be ae-KARINA. ae-KARINA functions off of death. But even though she functions off of death, she's only going to be really hard focused into Shara. And my Shara has a fairly decent amount of F-res. She also has a lot of HP. We have, quite frankly, some pretty tanky units that are on our side in general, so we have a big battery to work from, so her S2 actually does a fair amount of healing as well. Now here comes the moment that you've all been waiting for. So, Death Dealer Ray, as of now, anytime that he's able to get his S3 off, basically that's when you have initiated full control of the field. So, whenever you do that, you'll either put something to sleep, you'll inflict lots of venom, you'll then do a lot of extra damage because that's the way his S3 works. He does damage equal to the... it's like 80% of the injury damage that is on a unit. So as soon as you really start stacking up injuries and then you get your first Cloud of Death, you've essentially sealed the deal, and the fight's pretty much won. But I guess I should go on ahead and actually talk about the other elephant in the room. That being the oh-so-wonderful balance patches that are coming. So when it comes to the balance patches, I guess I'll go ahead and get it out of the way. And I'll also just say this as well. I am not really looking forward to them. Like, I cannot say this in any other way without saying I feel nothing for these balance patches. Like, I really do. I just feel nothing for them. For example, like, I've heard I'm bringing this up in the past, where how, hey, lol, Lone Crescent Bologna is getting buffed when Lone Crescent Bologna got to 3rd place in Worlds. For what fucking purpose is this unit getting buffed when you already are doing extremely well and you meet the niches that you are providing to the game, hitting units with anti-crit with guaranteed crits? So basically what they're doing with her is, okay, so they're going to make her S1 deal increased damage if you soul burn it. We have no fucking clue how much damage that's going to be. That's based on just when we see it. And we already know she's a strong as shit character, because when she was debuted, she did fuckloads of damage to units that had like Proof of Valor and shit. And then they're also going to change how much fighting spirit she gets, going from 15 to 20, so now it's like an even 20. Okay, cool. That's like just a general good buff. But then they're changing the soul burn. Like I said before, it's going on S1 for more damage instead of the S3, which was like reducing the cooldown time for it. I don't know why the fuck they're doing that, but like, hey, you know what? Whatever. Unit's just going to be stronger. We'll just see what's going on. And they're just going to increase the damage of it, too. Okay, whatevs. And now there's Death Dealer Ray. So Death Dealer Ray is completely getting fucking reworked. So now, like, all of his injury shenanigans based on the damage, like, how much injury they have, that's all going to be on the S1 now. He's no longer a focus character. His S2 no longer boosts the entire team. It only boosts him. Pestilence is completely different now. It does the venom, and then it also detonates on the turn if you have Pestilence. And his S3 now has a 5-turn cooldown and is no longer focus related, and you can do it at the start. I don't know how to fucking feel about this. Like, I have no clue how to feel about it. It's probably going to be good because it addresses his one real issue, is he takes forever to really rev up. But I don't know. We'll just see how it is. And then there's Aramentha getting buffs. Quite literally, the only thing you even need to know about her is they changed it so she doesn't detonate. You can choose to detonate with an EE. Why the fuck is this unit on a balance patch? And then there's Benevolent Roman. He got like a really interesting change where he's now immune to silence. And he also does death breaks now. The only thing I have to say about that is, why the fuck aren't other units immune to silence? Like, say, Infinite Horizon Acades. Oh, Shazam! Now you have a sudden unit that is immediately a goated counter to AOL. I don't know. Fuck it. Whatever. And then the other unit, Cerelia, she just straight up is better. She just does more numbers now. Like, that's quite literally all you need to know. Bastion of Pelucia, instead of it being on the highest attack unit for the effects that you gain, it'll grant the caster and the ally in the back row immunity for 1 turn. Okay, cool. And then Durandal, LOL, Durandal just works now without having to take damage. Okay, cool. And now there's Sleep. Basically, if you're asleep, it gets rid of your evasion now too. Wow, what a patch of all time. But either way, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more of my content, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm tired.